2 feet. Forward. 2 feet. Forward.
So to speak.
1992 was a year of kings. There was the LAPD beating of Rodney King, videotaped from an apartment balcony, and the hovering coverage of TV cameras and helicopters circling the city as the public rebelled. It was nearly 25 years after the assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King, and Bill Clinton, a child of the 60s, was campaigning to become commander-in-chief, a king among the contenders.
Hold on just a minute. Here's Larry King.
Hello?
Then there was Larry King, who was anointed as the father of talk show democracy because TV viewers could phone his program and ask the candidates questions on the air. The viewer calls to King's show was seen as a seed of a future TV democracy in which citizens could vote for a candidate or pending legislation by picking up a special remote control and voting yes or no. Taking viewer calls on Larry King's show is TV evangelist Pat Robertson, whose organization, the Christian Coalition, seeks working control of the Republican Party by 1996.
I'd like to ask Mr. Robertson 2 quick questions. One, what he thought about the Bush quail commercials. Were they effective? Should they have had more family values on them? Also, how can you say you want a party of inclusion when you're so blatantly anti-gay?
Behind the scenes and off the air, Robertson's media advisor tells Robertson how to turn around or spin the caller's question.
You take the one sentence, turn it around, completely other issue. Remember, you're answering the question. You can talk about anything you want to.
Well, I am moved. I want a kinder and gentler nation.
This Bush campaign phrase was written by spin doctor and speechwriter Peggy Noonan.
Because America is so infused by media that we are all spinning in a way. That it is.
We're embellishing our story.
Embellishment is okay. There's.
What's not okay? Where does spin
the
begin?
The disingenuous part, the calculating, this isn't the whole truth part.
If he tries to corner you on Buchanan, do the same thing, slide off it. Go back to the inclusion. You gotta expand the party, and you gotta bring everybody together. You can't worry about the problems of 1992. You gotta look ahead to 96. Focus on the future.
So to speak.
2 feet. Forward.
Anyone with a home satellite TV system, like the ones you see in bars or in people's yards, could have picked up Robertson and his spin doctor chatting off air. Dish owners are able to receive 2 types of TV. One is the regular TV programming you normally see on cable or the broadcast networks.
Is that Helmstead still the next one?
The other type of TV is the satellite feed, in this case the feed of George Bush and Larry King chatting during a commercial break.
Kind of weird being seen around the world. Technology.
It's amazing. I think Saddam Hussein is watching this very much.
Satellite feeds are used by the networks to transmit images of news events from around the world. An event covered by the network is transmitted up into space to a satellite. The satellite receives and retransmits the image of the event back down to Earth to the network's headquarters, where the video image is edited and contextualized as television. The home satellite dish owner can watch regular TV, or they can tune in the satellite feed and see the event before it has been packaged by the networks as television. In 1992, I bought a couple of satellite dishes and spent the entire year flipping through the channels looking for feeds. I'd lock onto a satellite and go channel by channel through its transmission, recording the feeds. Then I would move on to the next satellite, and the next one, and the next one. By the end of the year, I'd recorded more than 500 hours of feeds.
Don't put a lot of that garbage on it. What is this? Are we on the national
Can we turn that on? I don't want to be on national television being made up.
We're just turning the camera away from him, so he can be made up.
Some of the feed guests knew, and some didn't know, their images were being broadcast, unscrambled and visible, to over 3.5 million dish owners across North America. Those who knew they were being watched attempted to stay out of satellite TV's wide frame. But after spending hours a day inside of a television studio, television had become their home.
So to speak.
You see, forward.
So to speak.
You see,
1991 and 92 had been years of political extremes for George Bush. After the Gulf War in 1991, he had the highest approval rating of any president in modern history. But as the U.S. economy fell, so did Bush's ratings and his health. He and the First Lady Barbara Bush developed a thyroid condition known as Graves' disease. As Bush's ratings fell further, he decided to appear on Larry King's show. His appearance marked the first time a U.S. president had been on a call-in talk show in over 15 years.
You feeling well, by the way?
Yeah?
Are you feeling well?
You're good. You're lucky. I'm running still and played tennis yesterday.
What is that disease you had?
Crohn's, no, not Crohn's, just thyroid. I don't know what it was.
What are they? They drug treat it, right?
Take the drug every single morning, little blue thing, Synthroid or something. And it wasn't hard. It's what the thyroid does to make your heart fibrillate. But it's been very good.
Now, I took halcyon for a long time after my heart surgery.
Are you often at it? I don't know that it's bad, I reckon.
It's the best sleeping pill in the world, but not daily.
No, oh no.
Okay.
Now it's gotten such a bad rap.
Halcyon had gotten such a bad rap that its product license in Britain was provisionally withdrawn. Some users of the drug complained of amnesia, anxiety, delusions, and hostility. When Bush started the election year, he was taking a sedative during a visit to Japan when he fainted and threw up on the Japanese Prime Minister. For Bush, the image of the event could have been devastating. News stories of Jimmy Carter's fainting created a symbol of a failed president. It haunted Carter throughout his campaign and helped Ronald Reagan reach the White House. The first minute of Bush's fainting episode and the reaction of the frightened dinner guest was not released by the networks and is not seen here. Only this footage after the initial fainting was made public. Newsweek magazine published a story about the event with photographs from the censored Bush fainting episode, but the photographs obscured the view of the president's face. All traces of Bush's nauseating performance would be cleaned up by the White House television crew. Even this mantle photo of Bush's face next to a white baby's blanket may have looked too much like his face in Barbara's white napkin in Japan.
You want to take one of Anna? You got it. Do whatever you need to do.
So to speak.
you see, forward.
So to speak.
You see, forward.
This is the White House television studio, the satellite TV hub, which the president used to make news. From the White House studio, Bush would go up on a satellite, give a 5-minute interview with a local news anchor, disconnect, hook up with another local news anchor, give an interview, disconnect, hook up with another one, and do this again and again and again. This type of satellite whistle-stop campaigning is called the satellite tour. This is a technician at the White House hooking up with TV stations in South Carolina and Florida for a satellite tour by Barbara Bush.
Channel 4, do you read us in Washington? WYFL.